Welcome to Epilogue Podcast, the show where we discuss some stuff that happened on a different show ages ago which nobody really cares about anymore.
Hi, I'm Portponky.
And I'm LeBloc.
Today we are discussing Farscape, Season 1, Episode 11, Till the Blood Runs Clear. John fools some bounty hunters whilst trying to save his module. This is more of an action episode than the previous one. How did you find it?
I found it well. I liked it. It had explosions and bullets and all the action-y stuff, but it also had character-driven stuff.
Did it?
The stuff between John and Dargo, yeah.
Oh yeah, they sort of became chums all of a sudden.
Or anti-chums.
John convinced him that he's not completely mad.
For now.
Dargo seemed pretty set on it. He was not willing to leave him in battle.
Yeah, but that's well, the way I took that was a Luxon thing.
Yeah.
On honor in battle. Not necessarily, all right, I'm 100% behind you, John.
These warrior types, though, they only have 100% and 0%. Or are you saying he's 50%?
I'm saying he's 100% true to norms of battle, but not 100% to John.
John did a classic move when he was talking to Dargo, where he admitted his own flaws, or one of his own flaws, in an attempt to get Dargo to do the same.
I didn't notice, but good job.
He's acting like such a grown-up.
John has a healthy dose of self-awareness.
Do you mean Butch?
Oh yes, excuse me, Butch Crichton.
Yes, and Sundance.
I do like that he worked in some pop culture references for himself during a tense moment.
It's quite easy to do. He can draw on this stuff. No one will know. The perfect crime. It's not a crime, though.
I don't think subtle pop culture references, well, it's not even subtle, just references are a crime.
It was very funny when he thought Worf's name was Worf. Just look on his face. Like, it would be really exciting to meet an alien called Worf.
I could see his mind racing, thinking, hey, they got one right.
As if, had that guy been called Worf, he would have started thinking, is this all a big prank? Everything up until now I can buy, but an alien called Worf, really?
Too much.
Yeah, that's the straw that breaks the camel's back.
I didn't quite understand why not Worf was intimidated by John. I know he had a lot of confidence and he yelled at him, but that guy had a gun and John didn't.
That guy cared that he had a gun and John didn't. I saw a good comic strip where a bear is approaching a man in the woods, and the man, knowing his survival training, lies down and pretends to be dead. And then the bear thinks, that guy just saw me and then decided to go to sleep. I'm not messing with him. But that's what John's point was. He just is being the big alpha male, shouting a lot, apparently having no fear.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense.
I don't think those guys were very smart. Or
no, they were not.
Rather, I should say, for the plot to make consistent sense, you have to accept that those guys were pretty stupid.
At least they had good noses. Nose-eye? Noses.
Noses? What? Nose-eye? It's not Latin. Singular is not nosus.
Noza? Nozada.
Stop.
I got it.
Stop.
I got it.
They had a good sense of smell.
Part of me thought, okay, this is ridiculous. They could smell Zan as soon as she lands on the planet, but then all it does is hurry along the plot, and I don't need to see them bumbling about looking for Zan and whoever else. So it was fine.
None of them landed downwind. But if they did, then they'd have just arrived in the city and been smelled eventually. I never quite figured what happened to Zan. She did this weird super camouflage thing.
Okay, yes, I wanted to bring this up. I was thoroughly confused.
Then she got her photogasms on. But when the bounty hunters came back, they didn't have her, or it didn't appear that they had her.
So they mentioned that they lost her scent, but was that to camouflage her scent? That's all that was? That was so weird.
She saw them, and she maybe knew they were Icarian blood trackers, I'm thinking? I can't remember the species. So maybe, yeah, she disguised her scent. But you'd think they would still find her. They weren't far away.
They were just on the other side of that mound.
You would think they'd climb at least that and survey the area. And she was just writhing on the floor on the other side.
Hey, that scent mysteriously disappeared. Let's not go a single step further and turn back.
I wouldn't think the scent would disappear that quickly anyway. It would be stuck to the ground and everything.
You don't know the extent of
linger.
her powers. She retconned her scent.
Retconned it. She removed it from the canon.
It no longer exists in their memories.
And that's while she was getting her rocks off. That doesn't seem like the appropriate term.
While she was indisposed.
Why are you always the classy one?
I'm taking her words. I really liked how she worded it when she returned. I really liked that little part of the plot that she couldn't help herself and just had to give in. And it was so funny when she tortured Rigel and he's crying out for help.
It's kind of mean.
It is, but Rigel has it coming.
If that had been a guy doing it to a woman, it could be quite wrong.
Yeah.
I guess it was just a social experiment, so no harm done, right? That's how YouTube pranks work.
I do not want to be on the side of supporting YouTube pranksters.
The whole photogasm plotline went absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, it was just there.
Just to get Zan out of the picture.
But she was still in the picture. She ended up going to the planet and saying what's up.
Yeah, I guess. That's what I mean. The plotline seemed to not really connect with anything.
Except the flares also made Eren temporarily blind?
Yes. But not
So,
Zan. She maybe has different type of eyes.
or maybe when Sebastians have orgasmic experiences, they go blind. Oh
What?
man, it's that old joke.
But Eren didn't have his orgasmic. It was just Zan that had that. Only Delvians were susceptible to that ionic radiation.
So now you're an expert on Sebastians and how they respond to solar flares?
If she had some O time, she hid it well. And blindness was a hell of a penalty to pay for that.
Eren is a stoic individual. I could see her being capable of hiding it.
Not sure what the point of this discussion is. What were your thoughts on Farlow?
She seemed kind of off, and that was interesting to me.
She was kind of off. She knew that John was doing odd things in the atmosphere.
Well, she had all these flags all over the place.
Are you talking about actual flags?
Yeah, she hates flags, and it makes her go bonkers.
Okay. She pieced together the puzzle pretty quick. She's a smart cookie.
If they even have cookies.
They maybe don't have cookies. It's pretty cool that John was doing what a scientist would do and trying to reproduce the results that he had.
I like that part, but I don't like that he was ready to jump into that wormhole and see where it would lead to while Aaron was in there with him. That's not cool.
He wasn't gonna.
Yeah, but he thought about it.
I don't think he did. I think he was just captivated.
That was a long captivation.
Wormholes are pretty good.
That's true.
They could take him home. They could take all of them where they want to go, assuming they're not completely random. Creating a proto wormhole, or sort of seeing that special effect form again. It's like winning the lottery for John.
Twice?
Twice? No, because the first time it's just a freak weird thing that happened. But then knowing that you can cause them, it's not just a bad luck kind of 1 in a billion thing, but something that you can cause and potentially even control.
But am I to understand that he doesn't have the chance to do this again for another 5 years?
On that planet,
Okay.
there are plenty of other suns. He said it was solar flares versus the planet's atmosphere versus his module that caused it, or that was his idea.
So it's not a hard timeline that the show just baked in.
For that planet, yeah, I guess they just want to kick that planet out for a good long while. But I guess that one was good because it had regular, predictable flare activity.
That makes matters a little less complicated.
Probably. We have no idea how common that is or how many stars do that.
I'm glad they didn't make it super common where, oh, just wait a month or a year. I'm glad it was a substantial timeline.
I always hate it when you have an episode show and they say, oh, it's not going to happen until next year. Because then you get the yearly, like the seasonally episodes.
Yeah, I don't
Halloween, Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter. I don't know if there's a show that has Easter episodes.
We don't need annual wormhole episodes.
Maybe they should have done a better job of explaining John's reasoning, because the reason he was so desperate to save his module is because it might not work with another ship.
That's the understanding I had.
Okay, well, maybe they explained it fine. It wasn't really. They didn't really go out of their way to make that very clear. I felt.
No, now that you say it, I don't remember anything really explicit. I just kind of took that to be the case.
Yeah, it's the sort of scientific method. You want to repeat it and then start tinkering with things until you find the minimal set of criteria to cause something.
Right, you don't want to change a whole bunch of variables before you even figure out what the heck you're doing.
Especially considering his module is really different to everything.
Could be key.
Yeah, it could be. Furlow recognized that, though. She was very keen on purchasing the module.
She kept talking about what differentiated it from other vessels.
I like characters that don't appear particularly smart, but then are actually very smart.
She's not presented as dumb.
No, she's presented as an excellent mechanic, but that doesn't make her a great scientist or someone who would recognizes an opportunity and sees it like a good business person.
What did you think of this episode? I don't even think I asked.
I have complex feelings on this. It's kind of a generic keep a ruse going, avoid the bounty hunter, this kind of thing going on. Which is fine. I don't mind if a plot is not particularly spicy, but so it was okay from that angle. There's probably a few things I would like to talk about, but this show is spoiler free. I think it's a good addition to the episodes that have been on so far. I was not disappointed.
Well, no spoilers, but we can talk about John and Dargo shaking hands and how that's meaningless to Dargo.
Yes, Warriors on Earth did this to show they weren't holding a weapon. Dargo holds up his sword. He's like, okay.
Not only that, but you can't tell someone to do something and say, believe me, this is loaded with meaning. Doesn't work that way.
You can. Well, you can. You just can't expect them to follow through. Dargo did because he's passionate about tradition. He knew it meant a lot to John, so he said, okay, I will touch your hand.
With my sword in the other.
Yeah, he seems a little confused. I like how none of the aliens understand what John is on about. His bargaining with Worf was very good.
80-40?
Yeah, he raises it to 80-40.
That's a good deal.
Sure. John is quickly becoming a merchant of BS.
He has to. He doesn't have a choice.
No one understands him anyway. He might as well keep digging. Do you have a quote from this episode that you'd like to share with us?
This isn't gonna work, is it? We're never going to be friends. Friendship is a lot to ask.
They're not even on the same page. John thinks they're working at friendship. Dargo just considers him an annoying roommate. It's a classic tale.
They should be cops who are buddies and slowly learn that they have more in common than differences.
That the grammar there was messed up.
I know.
Are you voting for John and Dargo to become bros?
Sure. I want them to be bros.
Dargo is not exactly a hardback book.
What?
I don't know.
I do not follow.
I don't follow either. I don't know why I said that.
I thought, okay, is this an extension of they're not on the same page? Where did the hardback book come from?
Because he's not, like, John's a scientist. Dargo likes to shoot things with a sword.
Where'd you get a hardback book?
Just forget about that.
I can't.
It's in the past.
I think you're gonna make a fake internet page that talks about the etymology of some tortured thing about hardback books.
Would I do that?
100%.
John and Dargo really have a different approach to life.
They both want to get home.
Trying to play devil's advocate for no apparent reason because they probably could be good friends. I think they could all be friends, apart from maybe Rigel.
Rigel could be friends.
With who?
He secretly wants to be friends. He's lonely.
Yes, but with who?
Zan.
No, none of the people there. I think he would want friends, just not the people he's with. Someone who really respects and adores him.
Oh, I was going to say someone subservient.
Yeah, basically. So Rigel will be the weird roommate.
The weird pet.
He's not a pet.
He's small enough to be a pet.
Jeez, that's a sizist argument.
judge him by his size, I do.
Now you're making fun of Yoda as well. I think we should get on to the next episode.
Why do you think that?
Ignoring that question, the next episode is called Rhapsody in Blue.
Oh, it has to do with Zan. I'm a genius.
Wow, I just worked out how you worked that out.
It's because she's blue. All over.
Badoo.
Dabba dee dabba die.
Yeah, we get copyright claim now. Let's go watch that episode then. We're good at outros.
I hadn't noticed.
Oh, thanks.
No, you're great.
Oh,
You
thanks.
You didn't blue that one.
Oh, you.